Before the uni exam, Mia heard from Lila that Dubai was teeming with rich folks, and luxury rides were everywhere, even chilling in the scrapyards. Mia was itching to bail on the uni exam, jet abroad, marry into a loaded family, and live the high life. But I told Dad to put a stop to it, and eventually, Mia couldn't make it overseas. Once Mia started uni, she got all jelly when her roommate snagged a wealthy boyfriend. She blamed me for not letting her hit up Dubai and shoved me into deep water to drown. My entire fam pointed fingers at me for keeping them from getting loaded. Mia used my insurance cash to live it up, kickstart a biz with her uni pals, and morph into a young entrepreneur. In another life, I'd personally send the fam to Dubai. With Mia's looks, why bother with school? Come roll with me to Dubai. Find a rich hubby. Uni exams are too much stress. Lila said this while touching up her makeup, eyeing Mia, then subtly giving me a side eye. Even though we're twins, we're fraternal. I've never been as stunning as Mia and have always been treated differently. Our relatives chimed in too, right? The uni exam is so stressful. Lila's got it all. It's way more chill in Dubai, Grandma Rose bragged, saying she'd take us in the future because family comes first when there's something good. Right, Lila, she said while eagerly pouring water for Lila. But Lila just covered the cup with her hand. I jumped in, saying that if you marry a billionaire, you don't have to lift a finger, and you get millions in spending money each month. Lila, look at me. Before I could finish, Mia cut in, just take me. Kate's face would scare them off. She giggled, covered her mouth, and stuck out her tongue. Oops, sorry, but you're just plain ugly. Lila shot her a glance. All right, get your passport sorted. I'm on a tight schedule, I quickly added. But what about the uni exam coming up? Grandma gave me a hard pinch. She's leaving with Lila. Why stress over the exam? In my past life, I opposed Mia going abroad with Lila and ditching the uni exam. I even called Dad back. After Mia went to uni, she envied her roommate for landing a rich boyfriend and blamed me for holding her back. She then took the chance to ditch me. Dad also thought that without my interference, Mia would have been off with Lila getting rich. They laughed all the way to the bank with my insurance money. Finally, Mia used my money to live lavishly, reinvent herself, and become an entrepreneur. I was left to rot in the cold sea, unrecognizable. This time, I'd have my revenge. Revenge at the dinner table. Everyone chatted enthusiastically. I kept my head down eating and urging everyone to dig in more, especially the pricier dishes. When Grandma saw the bill, she asked why it was so expensive. I innocently replied, Grandma, Lila is making a fortune now. You're not worried about this, are you? Since deciding to go abroad, Mia stopped hitting her tutoring classes. She constantly moaned about how stressful the uni exam was. You hit the tutoring classes for me. If Dad finds out I'm not there, you know the consequences. Mia's sharp nails left a red mark on my forehead. Since we were kids, Mia has always bossed me around like a servant. She lifted my chin and sneered. You don't want to go to Dubai with Lila, do you? I suggest you forget it. Look at yourself. No one would want you even if you paid them. Ugly folks should study more. I lowered my head, agreeing meekly but feeling secretly thrilled. Last life I wanted more study guides, but the fam refused, saying they had no cash, yet turned around and enrolled Mia in special classes. There I found a cousin's kid who visibly sighed in relief seeing me instead. Such hypocrisy. Everyone claimed the uni exam was bad, but pushed their kids hard to compete and not fall behind. I soaked up as much knowledge as possible, like a sponge. Since Mia and I looked so different, the teacher soon noticed and privately contacted our parents. After class, as soon as I walked into the house, a glass was hurled at my face. I dodged it, making Mia angrier. She stormed up and slapped me. Did you tell them? She accused, landing more blows on my head before calming down. I kept silent. Defending never worked for me. Why are you hitting Lily? The teacher's not blind. Dad stepped in after Mia was done, advising me. Mia didn't mean it. She's just quick-tempered. You get it, right? There's leftover food in the kitchen. Heat it up and eat. Also wash the dishes and cut some fruit for Mia. Mia rolled her eyes at me and polished my shoes. Mom died giving birth to me, so I've always felt I owed Dad and Mia, constantly thinking about their needs. Silently, I nodded, putting down my backpack. Why are Mia's mock exam scores dropping? Dad asked, checking her report card. The teacher said if this continues, you might drop out of the honors class. He didn't know Mia was barely holding on to the honors class, relying on extra tutoring to boost her scores. If she dropped out, maybe I could have a shot. But Mia, with earbuds in, dismissed it. I'm heading to Dubai with Lila soon. Does this even matter? Fed up, she declared that she'd quit school, calling her classmates bumpkins, who only obsess over the uni exam, ruining her vibe. By the way, Dad, step up. Lila says you can earn tons abroad. Dad perked up. Really? Did Lila truly say that? Because of a past beef. Dad had been on bad terms with Lila. Couldn't ask her directly, but hearing about money, he couldn't resist. When I retreated to my room, they were still deep into planning their future. Go on, everyone. I'm eagerly waiting. When Grandma heard about Mia's school plans, she cheerfully remarked, "See, I told you. What's the use of studying?" Lila didn't finish much either, and she's still doing great. If I hadn't hidden your offer letter back then, would you be where you are now? Stop talking. Dad signaled her to chill. Lila glanced amusedly at Dad. Yeah, if it wasn't for my brother's idea to hide my offer back then, I wouldn't have this life. Dad awkwardly chuckled. Times were tough then. I had to prioritize. But I'm glad you ended up in Dubai. Now I get why they hadn't spoken for years. Casually, I asked, and Mia's tutoring? Dad replied, that's different. Lila's not my real child. Realizing his slip, he glanced sheepishly at Lila. Mia said I could make money if I went with her. She asked Lila with a smirk that didn't reach her eyes. Oh yeah, you could. Want to come with us? They surrounded Lila, bombarding her with questions. I quietly retreated to my room, opening the workbook filled with tough questions given to me by a top student. Just as I delved into the math problems, Mia barged in, grabbing my study material and tossing it downstairs. I heard you're improving and aiming for the honors class. You think I'd allow that? Ha, not a chance. She stomped on my papers, leaving dark footprints. I replied, I cheated on all my exams. Don't tell anyone. Mia smugly shut the door and went out to spread the word. Meanwhile, I stayed in bed and kept studying for the uni exam. As I was busting my butt cramming for exams, Mia was living it up with Lila, eating, playing, and posting on social media. Heard Lila even hooked Mia up with a rich, handsome guy overseas. They chatted daily using an international messaging app. With dark circles under my eyes and my face pale and lips cracked, I even timed my bathroom breaks. Mia was posting gorgeous selfies. 18-year-olds look the best with no makeup. I had no clue who in high school looks best without makeup, but my classmates, they look rough, chugging coffee like water, and can nap in a 5-minute break. Mia even came to our school and took pics with covered-up girls just to make her purity stand out. She came up to me and said, You're probably gonna get ditched. You know that, right? Our whole fam is moving to Dubai, except for you. You're as fat as a pig. Who'd want you? I was so dizzy from cramming vocab that I didn't catch the rest of her rant. And when I got home that night, the first thing I heard was, Neil, the chance at an honors class was given to you by your sister and you ignore her at school. My dad kicked me in the shin. He said, we were thinking of bringing you to work in Dubai once you graduate, but now we don't see the point. I sneered inside, knowing this was just an excuse to ditch me. I didn't care, but I had to act. Dad, Mia, don't leave me behind. I'll be good. I'll even drop school tomorrow to come with you. I cried, clinging to my dad's leg. Mia didn't like what she heard. She didn't hesitate and sped up the departure. Leaving early meant she wouldn't mess up my uni exam. Mission accomplished for the day. Just days left before the uni exam, and I woke up to my room in a mess, barefoot. I checked the house and found no one. It hit me when I checked Mia's social media. The latest post said, gotta go crazy while you're young. The caption showed her photos and a torn exam ticket. Comments swarmed, saying, don't forget us in Dubai, Mia. She looked so carefree, of course. It wouldn't have been if the torn ticket wasn't mine. I messaged her asking why she shredded my exam ticket. Mia replied, doing everyone a favor by cutting down the competition. Then she blocked me. But I was prepared, knowing her. Being sisters for 2 lifetimes, I expected it. Like last time, Mia adopted a stray cat, but didn't care for it. I took such good care that the kitten got attached to me. She killed the kitten the moment I wasn't looking. So the ticket at home was a copy. The real one, a friend kept it safe for me. I bet Mia was too scared to check what she stole. Grandma sent a video in our group chat. Dad, Lila, and Mia were walking ahead excitedly taking pics. Grandma lugging all the bags behind. Sweat dripped down her wrinkled face. But she was thrilled. My son's fam is moving to Dubai. Here's a video for all our relatives. Lila sneaks into a quiet corner. Phone out saying, "Yeah, I'll be there soon. This time it's all good stuff for sure. You're ready." She confirmed things and put her sunnies back on. Told Mia and Dad to hurry up. Grandma watched till they vanished through security, dreaming of immigrant life. Little did they know, the real nightmare was just starting. In my past life, I had a bigger reason to stop Mia from going to Dubai. The internet warned that Dubai's scams were more high-end than Myanmar's, but with Lila there to shield, I couldn't just say it. So I could only try to stop it. In this life, Mia wouldn't be so lucky on her own this time. The pictures never stopped coming from the moment they landed. Chat notifications went nonstop, almost crashing my phone. Beautiful sail-shaped hotels, a city high on tech. Even the air smelled of cash. Lush seafood feasts, the cruise roulette dealers, and Mia shopping nonstop with a short, chubby guy paying for everything. Mia tagged me in the group chat. Some people must be prepping to retake their tests already, right? I didn't have the time to reply. Every day was a race against the clock. When Grandma returned, she ignored me. I did all the housework and squeezed in studying. I felt I was at my limit when the uni exam finally came. All that hard work to be tested right then. Turning in my exam and leaving was when I realized I'd really changed. After turning off group chat notifications, I skimmed through the photos they posted in the last few weeks. The more I scrolled, the sketchier they seemed. Looked like they were low-res stock images. Never saw solo pics of my dad, just landscapes and food. The only real pics or vids were of Mia's so-called fiancé. In every shot, she casually flashed some brand label. Fam filled the chat with messages. Uncle said, "Such a great couple. When's the wedding, Mia?" My cousin said, "But our teacher said in Dubai, a person can have 4 wives, the first must be local. Mia, where do you rank?" The chat went dead silent. Not even Mia replied after that comment. Only Grandma stood her ground, claiming Mia went as the first wife. Based on past life knowledge, I knew e-commerce was the next big entrepreneurship gig. I used the break to start up a no-inventory online shop using my English skills and pocket change. By the time test scores came out, I'd saved enough for 3 years' tuition. So when Grandma packed my bags and said, "You're 18, I'm no longer obligated to keep you," I was ready. I was out the door and off to uni. It wasn't long before she started hunting me down. "Do you think something's happened to your dad? Why is he always asking me for money?" Grandma showed up at my dorm. I bloodshot from traveling nonstop. I dragged her to go file a police report, banking on her not wanting to cause a scene. "We're going to report it unless you want something serious to happen to them," Grandma snapped back. "None of you want them to have a good life." Her. My poor son and granddaughter. A crowd gathered. Her rambling only grew, but uni folk didn't indulge her one bit. "If you got something to say, say it. If not, keep it moving. Report it if it's serious." Someone took out a phone, started filming to show what a spiteful old person acts like. I said tearfully that everyone could bear witness it wasn't that I wasn't taking care of her. It was my grandma who refused to go to the police station. In the end, a male classmate started yelling louder than her, pleading for Grandma to let her students go. Then he crawled dramatically toward her, scaring her into running away. I thanked the onlookers and went back to my dorm, deep in thought. It seemed like it wasn't as simple as it appeared. With Lila backing up my dad, why were his financial problems still so significant? Not long after, I got a call from the Anti-Fraud Center. They reminded me not to trust international calls or messages, and to report any suspicious activity to the police immediately. They also called my grandma, but she angrily retorted, accusing them of being scammers themselves. "We don't have relatives in Myanmar. We're going to Dubai." The Anti-Fraud Center insisted that no matter where the call came from, even abroad, we should be cautious. Grandma got so mad that she uninstalled the anti-fraud app and eagerly waited for someone to take her away. And soon enough, she got a message from my dad telling her to pack for Dubai. She excitedly began packing, updating each step on her social media about a dozen times. But when she arrived, she was flabbergasted. It was nothing like the grand cruise she imagined, just an old, dirty boat. The ship's name was obscured by filth, and the crew was sparse. Worse yet, she didn't have a regular ticket, but was stowed away in a stinky bunk. She returned home in a hurry, claiming my dad had messed up the travel plans. After she didn't board, we lost contact with my dad. But just a couple days later, out of nowhere, he video called me. "Lily, why don't you come to Dubai too? We could all be together," he said, trying hard to look fatherly, but his nervous habits gave him away. "But Dad, I gotta go to school," I replied. "School? Who cares about school? Isn't my life more important?" He left the rest unsaid but looked like he wanted to reach through the screen and throttle me. Realizing his approach was off, he calmed and said, "There are too many uni students. You won't make money after graduating. You should come work here. Maybe marry a rich guy, like your sister." He looked at me expectantly, like a hyena eyeing prey. I thought for a moment and changed the subject. "Since you're all leaving, I should stay to take care of Grandma. Heard Ben's free at home? Why not contact him?" He hung up immediately. Later, I saw Ben was going to Dubai on social media. For a long time, our fam existed only in the relative stories and pics. Over time, people started questioning why. If they were making such big money, they never came back to visit. Ben's fam, in particular, began asking me if I'd been in touch with my dad. I told them I knew nothing, then asked if they didn't trust Grandma's character. I brushed them off while focusing on recruiting for my startup. When Ben requested a massive sum with no clear purpose and started avoiding calls, they panicked and went to confront Grandma. Right in front of them, Grandma called my dad. The noise on his end was chaotic. "We're doing fine here, focusing on big business, so don't bother us needlessly," was all they got before he hung up. When they called Mia, they just reached a so-called assistant who said they'd pass on the message. The peace lasted only until we both got summons from the police station. Lila had returned. They purposefully presented themselves proudly, speaking highly of each other's families, until we heard the police say that our family members were suspected of international fraud. "We've warned you repeatedly about leaving without thinking it through," the officer said, knocking on the table while taking our statements. I pinched myself hard to force tears when I explained I'd wanted to report it earlier, but Grandma hadn't allowed it and even scolded me. The officer's gaze turned gentle. Seeing me distressed, "Officer, what happened with Lila?" I asked. "She's a minor leader of a fraud syndicate." Before the police finished, Lily, my aunt, cried out and lunged for Lila. "What about my son? What's happened to him?" Grandma also asked anxiously about my dad. The police took us to meet Lila. She lifted her head, giving a sinister smile. "I know what you want to ask, so I'll just say it. Their organs have probably been fed to wild dogs by now." Grandma banged on the glass desperately, trying to reach Lila, demanding why. Lila retaliated passionately, handcuffed, pointing at Grandma. "I'm getting back at you. You ruined my chance at uni and my life. The only regret I have is not taking you down with me." Lily stood silent, but Lila wasn't going to let her off. "You want to know about your son? He's a beast. He raped me back in middle school. Didn't you hear my cries for help? You were just in the living room watching TV. Why did you pretend not to hear?" Grandma muttered softly about looking out for one's own first. "Exactly," Lila smirked at her. "Using your logic. Sending them over did me a favor. Do not provoke victims' families." The police escort stopped the scene. Leaving the station, Grandma still refused to accept it. She kept mumbling about how Mia would someday come to take her away to live in luxury. But she didn't seem to realize that with Mia's hatred for the fam, how could her daughter fare any better? Taking advantage of my student status, I started a company before graduation and earned my diploma as an outstanding graduate. All my shareholders were people Mia mingled with previously. I had no issues with them. Who'd mind making money? Our company grew and our trade extended to Dubai. Stepping off the plane onto Dubai soil, it all felt surreal. Finally, through my hard work, I stood in a decent position. A fellow Chinese person greeted us and explained a lot about Dubai. The city's riches belong to a few, the majority scrape by. Most marriages are polygamous, giving women little status, except for our client tonight, an esteemed woman of Dubai. Before dinner, outside the private room, I met someone familiar. It was Mia. She was cloaked in black, wearing makeup to blend in, but looking ridiculous. Seeing me, she called a waiter over with disdain. How did she get in here? Kick her out now. I thought she'd made it big, assuming she was the legendary woman tonight. I came to negotiate a deal. Whoever it is, business needs to happen. I was ready for humiliation, so I stepped right in. Mia's face changed instantly upon seeing me enter. Mia didn't even dare to come in. She just stood at the door, hands down, like waiting for someone. Pretty soon, the main person of interest showed up. Mia flinched when she saw her, then jogged over, kneeled to clean her shoes, and slowly shuffled into the room on her knees. That legendary woman is named Sire, a rare female leader in this male-dominated system. After some initial small talk, I got a sense of who they were. Mia is like a servant in their household. She was brought along today specifically to serve others. Mia ran around arranging things for everyone, even kneeling to serve dishes to each person without a word of complaint. Is this the life of luxury Mia was dreaming of? After a full meal, it was time for some casual chat. Sarah asked me, "Are you from a big city?" Honestly, I told her, "No, I'm just a college student from a small town." I got out of the small town and saw a bigger world through the uni exam. With a puzzled look, she asked, "Uni exam, what's that?" After I explained, she exclaimed, "Oh my God, you guys actually have something like the uni exam. In Dubai, the dividing line is amniotic fluid. The son of a mouse is always a mouse. We could never allow them to get higher education." She said this lightly with a smile, and I felt extremely grateful that my country gave me a fair chance. Finally, she clinked glasses with me, sincerely praising, "Lily, you're different from fools manipulated by 2 handbags." She glanced meaningfully at Mia. Mia stayed silent beside us. Her slightly trembling figure showed her inner unease. When I returned to the hotel to rest, someone knocked on my door. When I opened it, there was Mia, who just sat on the floor. "Lily, please take Mia away," she said, lifting her black robe to show arms full of whip and burn scars. "Lila is no human. She sold me to Sarah's family as a uterus. I've already lost 4 babies." Seeing I didn't react, she went on, "Really, please, Lily, I'm so young. If I go back, I can still retake classes. I don't want to ruin my life here." I turned, poured a glass of wine, and raised it slightly toward her. Mia breathed a sigh of relief, thinking I agreed and celebrated with her. But actually, I was toasting my past self. Before drowning, I had also clung to her, begging her to take me away. But she walked away without a glance back. Even recently, sometimes I still wake up from nightmares of suffocation. In this life, I don't dare to touch water. Today, the tables finally turned. I watched her, unable to harm me anymore, and finally conquered my inner demons. After finishing my wine and calming the whirlwind of emotions inside, I just quietly watched her. Softly, I said, "You got the wrong person. I don't know you." Until the security came to take her away. When Mia was dragged off, she left a trail of blood behind. Possibly the 5th baby was gone too. The second time I met Sire was at her home, where she invited me to see a pet show. Her pets were 2 leopards and a lion. Upon arriving, Mia was the one serving again. She looked even more haggard. The black robe wrapped around her like a zombie. "Get in there, stupid! Go feed my babies!" Mia's feet seemed nailed to the ground, her eyes begging for me to say something on her behalf. I lowered my head to taste the tea, which Sire had thoughtfully bought from Chinatown. Mia nervously carried raw meat into the glass house. Perhaps her bloody scent was too strong. The beasts ignored the meat, circling and sniffing her, ready to pounce. When Sarah's husband came back, Mia thought she found a savior. "Help me, dear," she cried. The man said, "Darling, are you in a hurry?" But the darling wasn't her, it was the beasts. Seeing the man, the beast got even more excited, claws resting on Mia's shoulder. She could clearly see the hot breath and feel the prick of the barbed tongue on her face. She was terrified into fainting and got dragged out. Sa was furious, useless thing, ruining the show, I spoke up. "Can I check on her?" When Mia woke up, I was handling some work. She arrogantly instructed, "Get me a glass of water, not too hot, not too cold, not too warm." Then she realized and pointed fearfully at me. "Why are you still alive?" With that one sentence, I knew Mia was back. Before I could respond, the Filipino maid struck her hard. "Thanks to Miss Lily, the madam arranged this room for you." Who do you think you're talking to? I, Lily the Madam, arranged this room for you. Who do you think you're talking to? I watched her with crossed arms, a slight smile. Ha! Who could she be? She's a nobody. Mia quickly realized something was off. After working for so many years, I'm no longer a pushover. A splash of cold water on her face brought her to reality. The water washed away her makeup, revealing hollow eyes, sharply protruding cheekbones, and pale lips. She looked malnourished. The mix of perfume and a rancid odor was gag-inducing. She questioned, "Why are you wearing Chanel? How dare you?" She tried to grab my jacket, but was yanked off the bed by the maid pulling her hair. "Useless servant, if you're awake, go to work. Do not bother Miss Lily." Mia screamed. "She's Miss Lily. Then who am I?" I stopped the maid saying, "Isn't this the life of Dubai wealth you dreamt of?" "Yes, this is wealth. I am the lady of this place. How dare you treat me like this?" She then arrogantly spoke in English to the maid, but she was dragged to the bathroom to drink toilet water to snap out of it. I saw her head pressed repeatedly into the toilet by the maid. No one understands the feeling of suffocation better than I do. When your lungs feel like they're about to burst in the water, you get pulled up to save a second of air, and then you're pushed down hard again. In minutes, she was unconscious, dragged to a corner like dead weight. Sunlight gently touched my shoulders, but didn't reach her dark corner. When we were prepping to fly back first class on Emirates, an airport alert came over the PA system. "There's a suspected terrorist on site. Please stay alert." It turned out someone was hiding in the luggage compartment, and it was Mia, struggling hard. "I am a Chinese citizen." "You have no right to detain me," she shouted. The response came swiftly. "Your ID card." She went silent. She had long cut up her ID in the heady rush of Dubai's fantasy, even posting on social media, bidding farewell to the education system. Seeing us, she acted like she saw a savior, breaking free from the guards and scrambling toward us, clinging to someone's pant leg. "It's me. I'm Mia. Don't you recognize me?" Then she crawled on her knees to another person. "Don't you recognize me?" Then she crawled on her knees to another person. "Don't you recognize me either?" Everyone around thought she was crazy, but I knew these were her buddies from a past life. But even now, she didn't get it. The uni exam was the only system remotely fair, allowing a leap from the grassroots to the mid-tier. Then the upper tiers selectively absorbed from the mid-tier. 4 years in uni were also the only chance to temporarily level the playing field across social classes. Once you step out of school, it's like you're in a whole different world. If you can't hold on to the connections, you might never cross paths with certain people. She kept repeating, "I'm the real businesswoman here. I got into a top uni with my test scores. Everyone thought she was just nuts." Seriously, what's fairness got to do with a uni test in Dubai? Is it like some last wish of the underclass before they die? As the plane soared into the sky, Mia was stuck forever in her hell. When I got back home, I took some time to visit Grandma. She'd been harassed by Ben's relatives and had a fall one winter. The fall left her paralyzed on one side, but I generously hired a caregiver for her. Everyone praised my filial piety, definitely the charm of a company boss, right? I couldn't see how the caregiver took care of her anyway. When I got home today, I found bed sores all over her body. Her blanket was falling apart, with black cotton sticking out. The cotton got into her wounds, making them super itchy and painful. The caregiver awkwardly rubbed her hands and said, "Your grandma's got a big temper. It's not like I'm ignoring her." I nodded, asked her to run out for groceries, so I could have a private moment. I dragged a somewhat stable chair over and sat in front of Grandma. The screech of metal across the floor sounded like the beginning of the end for her. "Mom didn't die having me, did she?" "Wait," I said, signaling for silence. "There's something I want to show you." Her eyes went wide as if she wanted to deny it, but also ask how I knew. "Your dear relatives told me. All it took was finding a few jobs for their kids, and they practically spilled everything. So you stopped my dad from going for a C-section, huh? Almost ended up with 2 deaths instead. And everyone just watched me be a fool." Her hand balled up into a fist like she was gonna hit me. I gently pried her fingers despite her resistance. Then I went a bit rougher and oh no, I accidentally broke her finger. I innocently stuck out my tongue. Just when she was on the verge of passing out from pain, I told her, "Not yet. I've got videos to show you." I held the phone up to her face. Even with a ton of pixelation, it was still obviously bloody. I told her, "See, this is your son's execution video. Have a good look." And as for Mia, she's everyone's bride now. You liked grandkids, right? She might give you two in 2 years. Exciting, huh? She finally couldn't breathe and passed out. I waltzed out of the room, feeling a flood of relief. Later on, I stayed single my whole life. I adopted a little girl as my daughter. From a young age, I took her traveling to all sorts of countries. I told her, every place has got its ups and downs, but touching down in first class and sneaky border crossing are two completely different things. Don't blindly think any place is perfect. As for joining the uni exam, I left it up to her. But she gave a cheeky smile and said, Mom, if I don't go, how will I find my own piece of the world?